Grounding is a principle of electricity that sometimes puzzles homeowners. To understand its importance to a home wiring system, it is important to know something about the nature of electrical energy flow. What is electrical grounding? Grounding offers excess electricity, the most effective and safest route from an appliance back to the ground by way of an electrical panel. Electrical grounding is a backup pathway that is generally only used if there is a fault in the wiring system. Electrical service to North American homes began in the late 1890s, and blossomed from 1920 to 1935, by which time, 70% of homes were connected to the electrical utility grid. In the following 200 years, the methods for installing wiring in those homes has seen several important innovations, aimed at improving the safety of electrical systems. Between 1890 and 1910, a wiring system known as knob and tube was the principal system of installation. It was quite a dependable system for the time, and a surprising number of homes still have knob and tube wiring functioning where it is often found alongside more modern updates. In knob and tube wiring, individually conducting wires protected by a rubberized cloth fabric are installed in stud and joist cavities, held in place by porcelain knob insulators, attached to the sides of framing members, and protected by porcelain tube insulators where the wires run through the framing members. In this wiring system, hot wires and neutral wires were run separately for safety. The system also allowed long circuit runs to be constructed by splicing together lengths of wire. To do this, the insulation was stripped back, a new wire was wrapped around the exposed bare wire, and the splice was soldered together, then taped to cover the splice. The downfall was the wire was exposed and there was no ground wire used. Where knob and tube wiring is still functioning, it is living on borrowed time, since the rubberized cloth insulation used on the wires has an expected lifespan of about 25 years, before it begins to crack and break down. Electrical systems containing functioning knob and tube wiring are in critical need of an upgrade. But just because you see knob and tubes in some wall or floor cavities, doesn't necessarily mean you are in danger. It was common practice to simply leave old wiring in place, but not energized, and functionally replaced when a home was rewired. It's possible that the porcelain insulators and wires you see are merely antique remnants of earlier wiring installations. In the 1920s to 1940s, electrical installations took a turn to a more protective wiring scheme. Flexible armored cable, or flex, also known as greenfield, was a welcomed addition to home wiring because the flexible metal jacket helped to protect the wires from damage, and also offered a metal pathway that could ground the system, when properly installed. Although it was an improvement, this wiring method had its troubles. Although the individual wire conductors are protected, the flexible outer metal jacket serves as a proper ground only when the metal pathway is complete, all the way to the service entrance and grounding rod. There is still no separate ground wire in these installations. In the 1930s, a quicker installation method was developed. Non-metallic sheathed cable was born, which incorporated a rubberized fabric coating sheath, much like knob and tube wiring, but here the hot and neutral wire were run together in this one sheathing. It also had its drawbacks due to the lack of a ground wire, but its development would eventually lead to major innovations. Early sheathed cable, however, also has an expected lifespan of about 25 years, and where it is still in use, such installations need to be upgraded. The 1940s brought the age of metal conduit. This invention allowed users to pull many individual conducting wires in the same rigid metal tube enclosure. The conduit itself is considered a viable grounding method, and the system can also allow another separate grounding wire, usually a green insulated wire, to be pulled through the conduit. Conduit has been in use ever since those days and is still the recommended method for wiring in certain applications, such as when wiring needs to be run along the face of basement masonry walls, or in exposed locations. Most homes have some areas where conduit is used, though it is now sometimes made with rigid plastic PVC conduit rather than metal. As the title screen of this video suggests, this is video number 22 of my DIY house circuit layout and connection series. In this series, I will be covering essential topics to help you understand and manage your home's electrical system safely and efficiently. Be sure and stay tuned, as I will be publishing the second and final installment of the evolution of electrical grounding. As well, I will, from time to time, be reviewing electrical products that in my opinion are worthy of paying attention to. One of those products is the EcoFlow Delta Pro Ultra. The EcoFlow Delta Pro Ultra is one of the most versatile, whole home backup solutions that has just been introduced to the market. This backup power system is designed for both extended outages and daily use. With an unrivaled capacity of 6 kWh, 7,200 watts output, and 5.6 kilowatts solar input, a single unit can run your entire home. With EcoFlow Smart Home Panel, you get an uninterrupted power backup experience with automatic switchover, energy consumption monitoring, and lower electricity bills. This unit is not driven by gas or diesel generation but uses the battery storage unit that is charged when the utility is available. This means that the unit can be placed indoors or outdoors and is virtually silent when operating. It has a stackable design that can be expanded to increase output in only minutes. Compatible with various energy sources, from solar to gas, to meet your ever-changing power needs. To obtain a discount code for 5% off on all EcoFlow products and more information on this subject, and pick up your free digital copy of the Ultimate Guide to Residential Standby Generators. Simply fill out the information requested when you go to this website, https://bit.ly/3 lowercase u, uppercase w, lowercase v, lowercase e, uppercase r, lowercase h. Before we end this video, I want to repeat the connection to my free copy of the Ultimate Guide to Residential Standby Generators, and the 5% discount code to all EcoFlow products. Also, here is the connection to obtain a free copy of my 50-page electrical power crib sheets. And finally, here is the link to all of my electrical courses, which are located in my Stan store.